Hello to you that is watching our channel, Land of Reiki and Aroma, as today we have another guest in our series, and will be Angela and the Qigong. Hello to you again, and welcome to the Land of Reiki and Aroma channel. Today I have a pleasure to have Angela, my Qigong teacher for many years, 3 years, nearly go to 4 years. And in this time, she will be talking about the Qigong and her experience. And first of all, would like to welcome you, Angela, and it's lovely to have you here with me talking about something that we really enjoy to do it and to practice and everything. So I'd like to introduce, if you can introduce yourself, tell about you and how you end up going to Qigong.
Hello, thank you so much for having me, Sol. It's lovely to see you on this interview, and wonderful that we can share our passion for Qigong together. So for your viewers who've never met me before, my name is Angela Phillips. I am a Qigong and Tai Chi instructor and the owner of Qigong with Angela. So I teach Qigong and Tai Chi, both group sessions, individual sessions, in person in the studio, and also online. You know, now we have the technology, we can do these kind of things. And it is an absolute passion of mine. And I'm just so pleased that I have this opportunity as an instructor to share this with anyone out there in the world who wants to either give it a little try because they've never heard of Qigong, or they know what it is and they want to get some ongoing instruction. And you know, all my students give me great feedback, which I really love. Everyone has a different experience. Everyone has a different reason for trying Qigong. And it's just wonderful to share it. It's such an accessible thing to do that I must say that almost anyone in the world could try it.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how you end up practice Qigong, you know, as a now you are like your job, you know, your work.
Yeah, so it's quite obvious that I look quite Chinese, which is where Qigong comes from. But strangely enough, I did not do Qigong from a young age. You know, you kind of, sometimes people assume I've been doing it since I was 5 years old, but actually I came across Tai Chi and Qigong as an adult. So I was born in England and I've lived in England all of my life. And I'm very fortunate that I feel like I've been leading a very happy, healthy life all through childhood. And then as an adult, I did get quite ill. We are talking about 2007, so 15 years ago now. I got quite ill with a chronic condition, which meant that all those lovely active things that I enjoyed doing, hiking in the mountains, fell running, exercise classes, I couldn't do those things anymore. And that's when I discovered Tai Chi and Qigong. My doctor said to me, why don't you try it? They're slow and gentle. Maybe you'll like it. And oh my God, I'm so thankful for the day that the doctor suggested it. did a little bit of research. I joined an evening class, one evening a week, and my love for it grew there. And gradually, over a number of months, practicing a little bit every day, I found that my health improved. And it improved so much that I was able to go back to work again, full-time employment, live a very happy, healthy life. And it's really only in the last 3 years, 3.5 years, that I decided I wanted to become a full-time instructor and share this with everyone else.
Oh, wonderful. Good, very good. So in that point, it's very good to ask what is Qigong and what is Tai Chi? What is the difference between both? Because it will be more easy for the people relate in our conversation.
Yes, of course. Well, Qigong and Tai Chi, I always say to people, if you saw me in the park practicing one of those, you might not be able to tell the difference of what I'm doing, because both of them have got lovely flowing, slow, gentle movements, finding harmony with nature and finding a stillness within our motion. However, with Qigong, all the emphasis is really on the health benefits to our body, very much linked to the traditional Chinese medicine theory, often the 5 elements theory, the process of using our meridians all around our body to spread and distribute that energy so that our organs and our body functions well. That is the main driver behind the Qigong. And then we find that harmony between the body movements, the breathing aspects, and also the mind, what we're thinking. Now, Tai Chi has very similar benefits and also very slow, gentle movements, but the Tai Chi origins are within martial arts. So I always joke, when my husband watches me doing Tai Chi, he watches me, and my husband is a 3rd Dan black belt karate. So he watches and he says, I recognize some of those moves, Angela, but they're much slower than I do in karate. So you can imagine, whenever we do any Tai Chi moves, there is an element of, even though it's slow and gentle, it could be used as a martial application. Whereas with Qigong, it's all about the health benefits, moving that energy along the meridians for good health preservation.
Oh, wonderful. Very good. Very good. Thank you. And which is I don't know is the right word to say or not, is a style or form, because they say the question, which style or form do you teach, or is or different styles or forms, you know, and it's not just one, maybe it's many, or I don't know if it's the right word to say style or form, you know.
Yeah, sure. Well, both of those words are correct. Usually when we talk about Tai Chi, there are 5 main styles and then different forms, like the number of steps. Whereas with Qigong, there are, again, many different styles everywhere. And the style that I teach is Health Qigong. And then within Health Qigong, there are many forms or routines with their names, specific music to go with it, so that if you wanted to practice with someone else, you would already know exactly which one you're doing. And you have friends around the world. So, you know, even though I'm here in England, I could tell, so I could send an email to someone saying I'm doing Health Qigong, Wu Qin Qi, 5 animals frolics. They would be doing exactly the same as me. And it's like we speak the same language already. So with Health Qigong, that's the form that I predominantly teach. It takes very ancient, traditional Chinese Qigong practices. We're talking about thousands of years old. And then what makes it into Health Qigong is that the Chinese Health Qigong Association went to lots of sports universities in China, the Beijing Sports University. They went to all the sports science professors and said, okay, in this day and age, people need to know the science behind why these things have health benefits. It's no longer good enough just to say, no, they've been doing it thousands of years in China, it must be good, right? So they got all these traditional Chinese medicine doctors, and they got them to talk to all these professors in science. They said, tell me, how does this all work? And they did some trials, lots of research, lots of case studies to make sure they understand why the Health Qigong works. And then they took the best parts and condensed it. Each Health Qigong routine or form is normally between 10 and 12 minutes long, because they recognize that in this modern day lifestyle, no one's got time to spend hours and hours on this practice. You're very lucky if you do, but you know, a lot of people just want to do a little bit of practice in the morning, maybe in the middle of the working day, maybe before they go to bed. So each Health Qigong routine lends itself to the typical busy daily lifestyle of the modern person.
Okay, very good, very good. And what we can expect during the class, because I do the class with you, is 45 minutes, but the people doesn't know what we do over there. So what do people expect during the class, you know?
So I always like to start the class. I introduce what we're going to do in the class, and we always start with a warm-up, a gentle warm-up. Now, you might think, why do we need a warm-up when the Qigong is going to be so gentle, right? So I like to warm up because sometimes we don't know that we're holding tension in our body. Maybe we've been hunched over a computer and a desk. People don't even realize their shoulders need to be rolling back. And also, as well as the physical part of the warm-up, there's the mental part. So maybe you need to just calm down, calm the breathing. Maybe my students have had a rush to get to the class, bad traffic, for example. So a chance to calm the breathing and get in the right frame of mind, ready for the Qigong practice. And then some of the Qigong routines, the ones which are a little bit more simple to follow, some of my classes are follow along. So I stand at the front of the class and I do the moves in mirror image. I'm always describing what the moves are so people know, is it my left hand that's moving or my right foot that's stepping out? And I describe those moves and they follow along. We flow through the routine and then we do a gentle warm down. Now for the routines which have a little bit more complicated move, I usually like to take the time to teach and educate my students one move at a time, not just what we're doing with the hands, the legs and the body, but also explaining what the health benefits are. Sometimes it's better if you understand what you're trying to do. You might be doing a movement like a bow and arrow and you know that you're stretching across the lung meridians. It's good for respiratory illnesses. For some people, perhaps with asthma or COPD, they like to be interested that this move is going to benefit them in a certain way. So depending on the style of the class and the type of routine and how experienced the students are, that's typically what the class is like. And then once we know where to put the hands and the feet, that's a little bit like teaching a dance move, right? Like the choreography. But once the students know where to put their hands and feet, then we start talking about cultivating the energy. We talk about the mind guiding the energy and the energy guiding the movements, the chi that's within us. And that's when it feels more like meditation. It feels really relaxing. And that's when we know we're taking the Qigong practice to a slightly higher level.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. So with this, we can you can complement the benefits of the Qigong, because it's very, as for me, helped me a lot to my balance and other things. And I would like that you give to the audience what is the benefits that general you have to practice Qigong.
Of course. Well, when I mentioned about the meridians, each of the meridians in the body is directly linked to one of our organs in the body. And of course, holistically, we need all of our organs to be functioning well, talking to each other. So by doing the Qigong, we're already allowing this energy to go around the body. It's called health preservation. So the idea is that little and often we maintain the good health of the body, rather than, oh, something's wrong with my arm, let's do Qigong to fix this, more holistic approach. And I would say that from a physical point of view, that's the main benefit. It can really help with coordination and balance as well, because most of the movements are done standing up. And then also, let's not forget the emotional and the mental well-being. So each of our organs is linked to some of our emotions. So by doing a Qigong routine from the start to the finish, we can balance those emotions, we can reset our mind, and we can find a sense of harmony there. I would say that for some people, they find the benefits within just doing one session with me, because there's lovely gentle music playing in the background. They know that that's time for themselves, and they just feel relaxed, but at the same time, they feel energized and reinvigorated by the end of the class. For some people, it takes a little bit longer because, the first couple of sessions, they're concentrating. What is Angela, the teacher, showing me? Yeah, that's it. But then gradually they become more familiar with the moves and they settle into it and find it more relaxing. And I had some students who say that after 4 weeks of class with me, they're already experiencing benefits, such as, daily living. Maybe in your kitchen, you've got cupboards which are high, cupboards which are low. And they say, it's so much easier to bend down and pick something out from the low cupboard. Or it's easier when I go to work and I have to lift a heavy box or whatever. So just generally feeling more like they've got good energy in their bodies. And, for some people, it is the only time they get to switch off from everything else. Maybe they had work commitments, family commitments, lots of stress in their life. So actually, the benefits are just different for everyone. But you can see the benefits very quickly.
Yeah, because mainly you need to pay attention what you are doing. So in that way, the mind needs to be there, If you are in a cuckoo land, they will not be there. So you'll be doing everything wrong.
I know what you mean. Some people say at the end of their first class, they go, oh, where did the time go? I don't know. It went so quickly. I was focusing so much. I couldn't even think about, my shopping list, or I need to make this for dinner, So it's a distraction from daily activities. And that's like giving your mind a lovely rest from it, even though you're paying attention and learning something new. So yeah, I get that feedback quite a lot. It's really good.
It's very good indeed. And with this, anyone can practice, or you recommend? Because there are people say, I don't know if my mother with 70 years old can do, or my daughter with 5 years old, whatever. And anyone can practice.
Yes. I would say that one of the best things about Health Qigong is that it is so accessible. So I always think of age as being just a number. So my students range from, I have 19-year-olds, so pretty young, not even 20 years old, and they've discovered it early in their lives. And my oldest is 89. So 19 to 90, that's a big range. So I get people phoning me, they're going, oh, I'm 60 years old, Angela, can I do Qigong? I'm like, oh, you're one of the younger people in the class. And I think that they're used to doing traditional exercise classes, maybe at the gym, where you jump around, lots of high impact activity, and they feel like they can't keep up with the rest of the class. Whereas here, everything's slower, it's gentle, it's low impact. If you've got problems with your knees, your ankles, your hips, anything, we can adapt or adjust some of the moves so that you always work within your comfort level. Some people like to have a chair nearby, just in case they need to sit down, have a little rest, or maybe if they start to feel like they've worked too hard, they can have a sit down. Some of my students do the whole class sitting down, which is not a problem. They sit on a chair, they still do the upper body, the waist movements. There are movements you can do with your feet to stimulate the kidney and the stomach and spleen activation points. And then there's even one of the Qigong routines I do is called the 6 healing sounds. So you make the sounds through from your belly area up through your mouth. You don't even have to move your body. There are movements, simple movements, but the idea is that even if you're so unwell, perhaps, that you were not able to move your arms and your legs, you could still get the benefits as these sounds resonate within your body and you get the health benefits. So I would truly say that everyone can do Qigong. And I teach people who are blind or partially sighted. I use my voice a lot more, you know, to describe what the moves are. And I have a student who comes to me who can't hear, but she watches and she does a little bit of lip reading. So really, when you think about it, it really is for everyone.
Yeah, for everyone. It's not something like and that way we can't like find an excuse to say no, I'm not. No. Because
yes, I always think if the mind is willing to give it a try, then yes, we can find a way for the health Qigong.
and with this, how long takes to experience these benefits? You say early on, maybe in 1 week or maybe in the same day after the practice of, because I think that depends of each one, how long the people start to take or notice the benefits.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Some of the simpler moves, people feel the benefits already. But let's, for example, we'll use the Wu Qin Si 5 animals frolics. It's a little bit more of a dynamic move, and I like to teach the students technically a safe and technically accurate movements first. Break it down, which might seem like, oh, why are we taking so long to learn the movements, Angela? But once you know how to do it properly and you become more familiar, the movements are more flowing, they're smoother, and then you use the right part of the body, then the energy really flows. That's when you feel the real true benefits. So so it depends on which routine, which moves, and also it depends on whether people come to my classes once a week, twice a week, maybe they practice at home themselves as well. That's really nice. And you can see some accelerated benefits from doing a little bit more practice like that.
And then I think that as much as you practice, as much as you benefit of the exercise and see in the detail of each movement, you are more aware what you are going to do and what part of your body you are working. And in this you can progress in terms to why not to see not the totally perfection, but will be very close to that point, right?
Yes, that's right. And I think that sometimes my students try to compare themselves to me. They say, why can't I do that movement so low or so smoothly or so elegantly? And I'm like, hang on a minute, you're still a beginner. You've only been coming for a few months. I've been doing this much longer than you have. But then they realize maybe they compare themselves a year ago and they go, hang on a minute. A year ago, I couldn't even stand on one leg for this move. Now I can stand on one leg and lift my knee higher. And it takes, you know, when you do it a little bit every week, you don't always take notice of the benefits and the improvements. But when you compare yourself with these bigger milestones, you actually realize how much progress you've made and how far you come along the Qigong journey. And I do like to think of Qigong as a journey, you know, it should take a little while for you to get into it, enjoy it, embrace it, and know that your journey is going to continue for a long time in the future. Not like, no, I've learned that one, all done. You know, you want to be able to continue enjoy the things that you like.
Yeah, that because there is so many different forms for different, like say, different goals, different styles, whatever, that take you to different experience, I'm saying, because sometimes myself, sometimes I prefer the egg procreate. Sometimes I prefer the 5 animals. Sometimes I prefer. So because with this, the body can ask which movement or which style, which form you'd like to practice in that day, né? Because 10-15 minutes per day in the morning is not so a lot, and you can do at home, right? Because with this, if this will be my last question, one of my last question for you is, with this you can practice alone, right?
Yes, absolutely. So with the Qigong, some people like to come to my classes because they have that social interaction with other people who found other people who also love the Qigong. But some people prefer to do things themselves, the comfort of their home. They like to fit it into their daily routine. And I would always encourage people to do both. There's no right or wrong answer. The only thing I would say is that I think it's always good to learn a new routine with an instructor, first of all, just to make sure you're doing things safely. You know what the health benefits that you are aiming for. And then you've got all of that information, then you can practice yourself. And that way, you're doing it correctly. That's why we have qualified instructors in the world. And also to advise how you can improve certain moves. Sometimes it can be difficult if you were just trying to learn online to see some of the details, because videos don't always show every angle of the body. Sometimes you can't tell what the breathing pattern is and what the mind is focusing on. So I would always say to people, if it's your first time, try going to a trained, qualified instructor, first of all, for a little bit of instruction. And then, yes, definitely practice in your own time, and then practice in the company of people as well, whichever you prefer.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Angela, thank you so much for take your time to be here to answer these little questions for my audience. And if you'd like to say anything else that can be helpful, like how the people can contact you, to find you.
Of course, yes. Well, it's been a pleasure to share this interview with you and your viewers, so that they've got an introduction into Health Qigong. If anyone is interested in contacting me, my website is qigongwithangela.co.uk. I have an Instagram handle, which is Qigong with Angela, Facebook, which is Qigong with Angela, Twitter, which is Angela Qigong. So provided you've got Angela and you've got Qigong somewhere in there, you'll probably find me, right? And of course, we need to remember Qigong is spelled Qigong. In the English language, it's very unusual to have QI without the letter U in. So sometimes that can confuse people. But Qigong, Angela, please contact me. My website's got the information of my classes and some introductory information about Qigong. And then more on the social media, you get to see some photos and videos of some of the movements we get up to, some of the workshops that we hold, so you get a flavor of what our classes are like.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here, Angela, and thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Sol. Oh, thank you for listening.